Most companies don't have a hiring problem, they have a filtering problem. Most teams miss great candidates because they never even see them. But what if you could screen 100 candidates without ever opening a resume? Well, that's what we're going to be building in this video. We are going to take it step by step, but it's not exactly about solving this specific problem. The bigger picture here is learning how to think in systems. So we're going to build this step by step, and the best part is we're not going to even write a single line of code ourselves. So if you're ready to learn more about systems thinking and solving problems for hiring, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth and this is Gap Consulting, and it's my mission to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools like Airtable, Zapier, Softr, and Zeit. In this video, we're going to be diving into solving for hiring. So how can you build a system that helps you do this job more effectively so that you are hiring better candidates and are staying more organized within your hiring process? So what does it look like? A disorganized hiring process? Well, let's break it down. First, we've got resumes everywhere, stuff in LinkedIn, stuff in email, maybe some people submitting information through some kind of form or a half-used portal. We have no consistent evaluation, no rubric for how we're supposed to score these things. Everyone kind of has their own method and their own feel, and most of it is just done by instinct. It's slow, it's manual, and a lot of it is very detailed decision-making that could be done ultimately from a system, better organization. The truth is, most resumes are marketing documents. They're not actual data. And the more applicants you get, the worse your process becomes if it's not organized and streamlined. So how do we solve this? Well, instead of fixing resumes, let's remove them entirely. I'll show you how step by step. The first step is to start with AI, because we want to get clarity on what it is we're doing. And most people will skip this step. They'll go right into opening a tool. They'll start with Airtable, they'll start with Zeit, they'll start with Softr, and rather than think about what it is they're building, they're just going to start building. And that is going to cause a lot of rework for you. So let's do it the right way, and we're going to clearly identify what we need in order to build the perfect solution for our needs. The key takeaway is that the tool doesn't matter, the process does. So let's start it right. So I'm here in my favorite AI, Claude, and I'm going to drop in an initial prompt. I'll read it out to you just so that you understand where I'm coming from. I want to design a no-code system. Help me generate a detailed build prompt for creating an automated hiring pipeline. The system should replace resume review with structured data, score and rank candidates, generate candidate summaries, automate interview progression. So the idea here is we're defining with our AI tool what we need. And then, of course, at a high level, call out what the schema might be. Now, you might not be perfect at this, especially if you haven't built hundreds of databases. So take your best stab at it, because AI can help us through this process. Now, in any well-written prompt, we need to include the output that we're looking for. So here you'll notice that we've said we need a data schema. We need you to put logic in. We need you to tell us about the different interfaces. And of course, we need a step-by-step build plan. So we're asking AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. Let's see what it spins up. So I'm throwing this in and we'll see what comes back. Now, while it's thinking, I want to caution you with taking the first response and just going forward with it, because AI can always be further nurtured and further improved. So we're not going to take this output, whatever is given back to us by Claude, we're not going to just take it and start building. We're going to nurture this a little bit and see if we can evolve it and make some small tweaks. But let's see what it's going to send out. It's already creating a clean, paste-ready build prompt for us. So let's pause here while it finishes thinking. Now, it took a few moments, but our output is now ready. And as I said, we're not going to take the initial outcome here. But you'll see that Claude did a really good job, and this is why it's currently my favorite AI tool. It has created the database tables, jobs, candidates, applications, answers, pipeline stages, and team members. One thing I would push back on here is that our candidates and team members, if we want them to both be users in our app, they should live in one table. And we should have a drop-down in that table that says whether they're internal team members or external applicants. So this is one thing that I would push back on with Claude here. You can also see that it's listed out the pipeline stages, and we have a lot of really great information about the build phases and then some things to flag. So Claude always does a really good job of this, calling out different unknowns, saying things like, hey, here's an example. AI summary is a hard dependency. The prompt assumes a make webhook. Claude API write back flow. If Softr has a native AI block, it does, that can handle this, use it and skip make entirely. This is worth confirming before you start phase 5. So you can see that we've got these build phases as well, which is really helpful. So here I've put together an updated prompt for Claude, and it's thinking through this right now. Essentially, I'm calling this out and saying, let's make this simpler because we have a high-level example that we're putting together in a video. And of course, I only want one simple prompt. This way I can start using the vibe coding element in Softr. This vibe coding element, if you have not yet seen it or have not yet used it, is game-changing. But of course, it always helps, as I said already, to start by thinking about the problem that you're trying to solve. So here we go. We have the entire prompt. We can copy and paste this and put it right into Softr's vibe code builder. So let's flip on over here, and we have our Softr load here, and on the home page where it says, your next new idea starts here. Let's drop in that prompt and start building. This application is really, really powerful within Softr. This is a newer feature that, as I said, will allow you to set up an entire system, the backend database, the workflows, and the front-end application, all from an initial prompt. So it's going to ask us some clarifying questions, which is what any good AI does when we give it instructions. So first and foremost, how will our users log in? SSO, Google, or email? Let's keep it simple. Just do email here. We can always change this later. Can people sign up on their own? Well, for our purposes, let's say no. I will invite users to this application. I don't want them to just be able to sign up for free. Next, where do we want our navigation layout to be? Is it going to be on the side for the desktop, on the top, or both? You can see as we go through these different options, it shows us here on the side. We can also choose where the navigation layout will be for the mobile device. I like side and bottom for desktop and mobile respectively, but go with whatever feels best to you. And here's where we're going to choose a theme for our system. Now, again, we can update any of this. So we can pick a theme that feels closely aligned with us right now, and of course, update it when the application goes live. But let's go with Tangerine here. This is a pretty snappy one. I like the orange, and we will create the app. So let's pause here while Softr does its thinking, and we'll resume once this app is built. Now, if as you're watching this, you're thinking that you could really use some help, some guidance, some clarity on building your next no-code system, we have a solution for you. This is exactly why we offer a 20-minute strategy session to all of our viewers. You can sign up for free at gapconsulting.io/strategy-call. You can hop on a call with us, and we can give you the clarity you're looking for to move forward on your no-code project. Now, back to the video. All right, it's taken a few minutes for Softr to go through and build out this application, but let's be honest, it would have taken a lot more than a few minutes had we done it by hand. So let's now dive in and see what's been created for us. So we have the ability to try our live app or just skip that. But no, let's actually try it out live because I want to see what it is that was built for us. Now, when you're in preview mode, which is where we are right now, you'll notice that you can cycle through and be a different user. You can impersonate people quite easily. So we've got different roles here. We have hiring managers, admin, and applicants. And depending on who is accessing our system, they're going to see different information entirely based on their role in the software. So let's take the perspective of an applicant, somebody outside of our organization. When we change the user, it's going to warn us that, hey, any changes that you make here are actually going to be reflected in the data. So of course, that's fine. We understand. So we can say, cool, let's move on. So we are in preview mode. Again, any changes that we make, of course, will have an impact. So here you can see this person who's logged in as an applicant. This is Isabella Brown, an applicant. Isabella sees her homepage, which includes all of the jobs. So you can see different jobs here. And of course, it's a little silly that we would show jobs that are in draft mode or closed because, of course, as an applicant, Isabella doesn't need this. So this is where we can come back in and make updates, either through prompting to the AI tool or by doing it manually. Let's put a pin in that for now. We'll come back to that. Notice that we can also search for jobs and filter by a status or a department. I can also ask AI if I have certain questions, and this will query AI within the application. Do note that whatever permission I have as a user is going to be inherited by the AI. So the AI cannot answer questions for me based on data that I do not have access to. Now I can also look at jobs. These are open roles, okay? Got the different open roles here. And then lastly, we can apply. So I can choose a particular job if I wanted to, although none are currently showing up. And I see the different stages, and I could apply for a role. So this would allow me to submit an application as an applicant. What happens as a hiring manager? You'll notice when I change to a different user with different role, of course, there are different permissions. So here I am as Sophia, who has hiring manager role. She has the home page. She can see jobs. She can look at the application for a role. She can look at the current pipeline. This is a new view where she can actually move around the different applications and put them in different stages on a Kanban view. And then lastly, she has a management dashboard here where she can look at all the different jobs and she can add new jobs as well. Now, as you can see, there are many different roles in our application. The thing I love about Softr, though, not only did it stand all of this up with one simple prompt, now it's time for us to go in and make refinements to our application. So let's make those changes. We go back not in the preview side, but on the build side. So when we have certain things that we want to change about our application, we can just talk to the AI co-builder and it will help us with that. And sometimes the co-builder does not have the permissions required, but it will instruct us on how to solve the problem we need to solve. So let's take an example. You'll notice that as the hiring manager role, I could apply for a role. That's kind of a funny action because as the hiring manager, I'm already inside of the organization. I'm not an applicant. So let's put some kind of a prompt together for this. So here I've gone ahead and typed up a simple little prompt that says, hey, only applicants, the applicant's role, should be able to apply for jobs. All other users won't see the application or apply workflow because they're already on the team. And so you can see just like that, Softr's AI is already applying the updates. So it's restricted the apply page so that only users in the applicant group can access it. And it was that simple. But the nice thing about Softr, not only does it have a really smart AI, but it's so easy to make changes in my application just by looking at it. So again, 99% of the work has been done for me from my initial prompt. But if I want to make changes here, I just have to click the different elements and I can go into the settings, I can change things, I can update the styles, I can update the visibility. Speaking of styles, if I want to now change the look and feel of the app, it's so easy. All I do is head on over to theme and I have my colors here, so I can update all of these. I can update the typography to use whatever heading or body family, fonts, weights that I want to represent my brand. I also have styles in terms of, the roundness of buttons and borders and shadows. Also my navigation, you'll remember that we put it on the side. Well, I can move it to the top. So I have full customization over my app, and it's so simple for me to go through the different settings, both in the theme and then also the other settings like adding a favicon and making this a progressive web application, or integrating it with external tools, or managing user comments and allowing people to comment inside the app. Ideally, I set all of the different things up as I want them, and when I'm ready to go live, all I have to do is hit publish and start inviting people to the app. But one more place to look before we head out is the data and the users layers. So this is our front application. This is what it looks like when people access the app, but it's all powered by the data layer. And this whole thing was built for us through the AI prompt. We have our users, We have our jobs, we have our applications, and our application answers. Not only was the data layer built, of course, we also have the users. And these will look familiar to you because as we were previewing the application, we were going through the different users and impersonating them. Well, here we have the different user names. All of this lives, of course, in our data table for users. If I head back here, this is driving all of those users. But you can see here what the different users are and how they're grouped. So we already have these different roles: the hiring manager, the admin, the applicant, the interviewer, etc. And you can see that they're not invited yet, and they are currently synced. So this is how our whole application is powered. We have users in our data layer that are associated and linked to all of the information in our app, and then people can only see the stuff that we've given them permission to view. Once we're happy with this, we can publish the app. And if you have your own domain that you want to add in, your own custom domain that you own, you can drop it in here, or you can just use whatever URL Softr has provided for us. Let's go ahead and publish this, and then it's live. We can invite people to the app. And of course, lastly, let's actually see the app itself, the live version existing right here. This is what anyone's going to see. They're going to be able to log in. And once they get in the system, they will have access to whatever data they're allowed to see based on their roles. Pretty amazing that we can build an entire system like this in just a few prompts. But this is the world we live in. This is why it's so important for you to take time up front planning and thinking through the system that you want to build. So if you're ready to build a system like this for your business and you could use some guidance along the way, grab our strategy session. You can sign up at gapconsulting.io/strategy-call, and we will meet with you for 20 minutes and help you think through your ideal application in no code. That's it for this one. I hope you got a ton of value from this video and are inspired to start using Softr and more vibe coding prompts. If you loved this, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you see more content like this. But most importantly, keep on building.